YouTube, what's up? Riz here, back with another NFL Combine recap. Recapping day 2, and how about John Ross breaking Chris Johnson's 40-time record, 4.22 officially. Just very impressive. He needs surgery too. He's got a hurt shoulder, so to be able to run that while you're hurt, and he pulled something on the run too, so that's why he couldn't run a second time. But just overall, very impressive. And like I said in the past, these players in this draft, it's such a good class. Everybody's so closely graded that a 40 like that really can boost him up on people's boards. He will be rising up on my board. Usually the combine numbers don't really affect it, but like I said in the past, guys are so closely graded that just the slightest thing will change it. And I mean he should be a top 15 lock now after that, because he has the production too. He has the production on the field and runs a 4.22. Jumped 37. His vertical was 37. Very impressive. The difference between John Ross and past receivers that snuck into the first round because of their 40 end up being busts. I mean, there's plenty you can name. There's a big difference between the two. John Ross had production. They didn't have as much production. And John Ross was a first-round draft pick before he ran that 40. Those guys were not. Those guys made it into the first round because of their 40, how fast they were. And somebody took a chance on them. They don't normally work out. But John Ross was a first-round pick if he ran like a 4.5. He was still a first-round pick. Maybe early second, but runs a 4.22. This guy should be a top 15 lock. Could be the first receiver off the board. Wouldn't surprise me. Would love to see Corey Davis run, but we're not going to be able to see him run. But obviously, John Ross wins the day. Talk about more receivers. Curtis Samuel, receiver/running back from Ohio State, ran a 4.31. Expected him to be that fast. That is very fast, though, so it does nothing but help him. 37-inch vertical. Very impressive. Josh Malone, big winner for me. The Tennessee receiver. He ran a 4.41 while being 6'3", and we already know he's excellent at running routes, and that's very important. Vertical wasn't as good as I would like it to be, but overall good day. 4.41 for a 6'3" guy. Very impressive. Chris Godwin, 4.42. People expected him in the 4.5s. Ran a 4.42. Looked good in drills. 36-inch vertical. He's a big winner today. Zay Jones, same thing. Was expected to run in the 4.5s. Ran a 4.45. 36.5-inch vertical. Broad jump, 133. All great numbers. Would like to see him do a little better in drills, but we know what he can do on the field, so that really is a concern, because what he does on the field is more important and just overpowers that. Really no weaknesses in his game. The weakness was, is he going to run a 4.5? He ran a 4.45. So Zay Jones, to me, wouldn't be a bad pick if he went late first round, early seconds more like it, though. Another sleeper, Kenny Golladay from Northern Illinois, ran a 4.5 for being a 6'4 guy, 35.5-inch vertical, which is very good for him. So that's a sleeper guy that could, I think he made himself draftable for sure. Mike Williams didn't run, but did well in drills, showed he has very strong hands. We already knew that about Mike Williams, though. Speedy Noyle didn't run, 43.5-inch vertical, which is absolutely insane. Led the day, leads the combine so far. I'd be surprised if somebody beat that. Maybe a defensive back would beat that, but that's just ridiculous. 43.5-inch vertical. Broad jump, 133. Good day for him. Was more 7th round undrafted guy. Probably made himself draftable too. Probably gets drafted maybe even 6th round. Somebody likes those hops. Need to see him run though. Didn't get to run his 40 pro day. Hopefully we see him run that 40. Malachi Dupre, LSU, kind of a receiver that goes up and catches the ball. Really like that about him. And then shit showed. Vertical 38.5, broad jump 135. Very explosive. Very good numbers for him. I like him a lot. Talked about him in the past too. I really like him. Small school guy, somewhat small school at Georgia State, Robert Davis, ran a 4.44. Jump 41 inches, 136 broad jump. All great numbers. Was a guy that was probably undrafted. Maybe he sneaks in there now. Guys I thought kind of were losers out of the receivers. Isaiah Ford, a guy I really liked, was kind of up there. Easily top 10 receiver for me. Loved his routes. And I thought at worst it'd be 4.5s. I thought he can get in the 4.4s. He ran a 4.61, so I don't like that about him, but I still like what he does on the field. Cooper Kupp ran a 4.62. Another guy, still love his tape, but 4.62 I expected much faster than that, so that's got to hurt him, those two guys, just a little bit. But tape is probably the most important thing. All right, now we're gonna go with the quarterbacks now. The winner for quarterbacks is Deshaun Watson. If you're familiar with my videos, podcast, and I had Deshaun Watson #1 quarterback all along, and it showed today why he deserves to be #1. Very smooth, very accurate, very consistent. Just an overall good day. Trubisky was impressive to me. Looked good in drills. Ran a 4.67, which is very impressive. Mahomes, also another guy that looks smooth. I've been pretty high on Mahomes. Kaye looked good in drills. Did nothing but help himself. Dobbs, too. I really like Dobbs. 4.64 42. Looks smooth in drills. So I'm very happy with those guys. Kaiser, I wasn't really happy with. And, I talked about him in other videos, too, how I wasn't that high on him. And it kind of showed today. I still think he has a ton of potential, but he had good deep balls in the drills today, but we already knew he can throw deep. We already knew that. Inconsistent on other types of throws, and that's something I already touched on too. That's something I already knew. He's inconsistent on tougher throws, I guess, quicker throws. So he's got a ton of potential, but he has a lot to work on. I don't want to call him a loser on the day, but I'm not going to call him a winner on the day either. Some people think he's a winner because of those deep balls, but we already knew that about him. So the 3 top quarterbacks, Watson, Trubisky, Mahomes, really helped themselves, and those will remain my 3 top quarterbacks. Watson will remain my #1 quarterback. On to the tight ends. What a beast tight end class. Evan Engram with a 4.42 made himself a second-round lock. I figured he'd be a second round anyways, but early second should happen. 36-inch vertical. Great day for him. Faster than like 90% of the receivers. It's ridiculous. Bucky Hodges ran a 4.57. Not the fastest, but it's a good time. But jumped 39 inches, and broad jump was 134. Very explosive guy. Very impressed with him. I think he's a second rounder as well. O.J. Howard, best tight end in the class, ran a 4.51. Looks solid. Great in drills. Just obvious stuff there. David Njoku ran a little slower than I wanted him to, but it shows on the field. He's fast on the field. Very athletic on the field. 37.5-inch vertical. Broad jump was 133. And measuring in at 6'4" is a big win for him. Big win. People thought 6'3". He was even listed 6'2" at one point. He's the youngest guy in the draft class, so he's still growing. 6'4" is big time for him. On to George Kittle from Iowa. Was mainly known as one of the best blocking tight ends, but ran a 4.52 and jumped 35 inches. So that was very surprising for him. That, obviously helped himself with that. Overall, tight end class is great. There's more guys that I thought were good, but those are the main ones I want to focus on. Also, some recent news on the Jets. The Jets announced they're open for business. They're willing to trade their 6th pick, other picks. I think they want to gain picks is what they want to do. But what's pretty obvious to me is the Jets are a team that drafts best available, which I would agree with. I like drafting best available player over need. I don't want to reach for a guy just because it's a need. I don't want to pass on a Pro Bowl guy. So that's something I agree with the Jets. They haven't been that. It hasn't really worked out for them because of the quarterback situation. And so with that being said, if they want to move back, to me that kind of is hinting at they want to draft a quarterback. But obviously drafting a quarterback at 6 is too high. He's not going to be the best player on their board. So they want to move back and get him where he's going to be the best player on the board and gain picks. So that shows me those two things. Or they feel as the class is very good where the guy you pick at 6 has about the same grade as the guy you pick at like in the teens. So trading back, getting a equal graded guy and gaining picks is just a win-win. So I guess that is an option too. So the Jets got something up their sleeve. I expect a lot of trades to happen with this quarterback situation. Is it too early to take this guy? Do we have to trade back? So it should be interesting. To me, Watson's just the best quarterback. I don't really have a problem with taking him early. He's a proven winner. He's proven consistent to me. Very good athlete. It's just a no-brainer. I don't think he's the best player in the draft, but it's a no-brainer. He's the best quarterback in the draft as of now for me. Other guys help themselves too, though. That'll wrap up day 2 recap. Still got day 3 with defensive linemen and linebackers. Jabril Pepper is going to be involved in that. Also going to do drills with the defensive backs on Monday. Can't wait. Follow our Twitter, frogs_angels, constantly tweeting stuff about the combine, tweeting combine meetings, what players are meeting with what teams. So interesting stuff. Please follow us there. and like and subscribe. There will be more and more draft videos on the way. That'll do it for me. Goodbye.